Lately I've been feeling like social media is just such a toxic thing. Like it has such a great power where like anyone in any niche, any subculture. Let me pause that, it's pretty loud. I'm just working on some music, but I just want to share some thoughts. Kind of like a, I don't know, fireside chat. So you guys can see me make some music, but I'm just gonna mostly talk to the camera. So yeah, I feel like you got a double-edged sword. On one side, it's giving you freedom and empowerment to build your own audience, and it doesn't cost you anything except some time and mental energy. I'm working on this drop, by the way. But on the other side, it can absolutely trap you and make you feel like you're constantly comparing yourself to other people, or you get stuck in these validation loops because you thought something was going to perform well but it didn't. So you have this expectation gap that's not being met. So this constant cycle of expectation gaps, comparison traps, it starts to fatigue you. It starts to wear down your mind and your spirit, and you start asking yourself, why did I even start doing this in the first place? Like, I just wanted to make music. Why am I now chasing vanity metrics on social media? Why does that matter so much to me? And then you're like, the fact that you care so much, that starts to bother you. You're like, why am I so invested in this? What the fuck? And then it just becomes this crazy feedback loop. And so I think it's important to recognize that. Chances are, if you're on the same path, whatever it is you're doing, you're trying to get people to recognize your art, your craft, your mission, your brand, your business, you're probably going through maybe something similar. At least I am. I don't know if you guys are, but man, sometimes it's good, but sometimes you definitely go through those ruts, you go through those valleys, and I'm like, bro, I just want to delete all this shit, log off, never open a screen ever again. But then if you do that, it's like you feel like you're invisible and you're limiting yourself. So it's a double-edged sword. That's the thing. So what I've come to terms with is very simply this. You need to figure out how you actually want to represent yourself to the world. Not just today, not just this week or this month, but we're talking like long-term. Like, what is the legacy that you want to leave behind? What are you leaving behind on this earth? And from there, yeah, you got to be strategic, you know. You can't just post whatever and expect the audience to give a fuck. Unfortunately, it's not like that. You do have to consider the algorithm, people's attention spans. You have to consider those things, right? You do, to some degree, need to be strategic and kind of hack the system. But don't let it become an obsession, because for months I was obsessed with hacking the system, hacking the growth. And it's like, I eventually went viral. I got like 2.5 million views on a video, and a couple other videos did pretty well as well. And my followers spiked. Like, I tripled my size on Instagram, and I was like, whoa, this is great. All these people are commenting, DMing. But then like 1 week later, it all just went back to where it was before. And it's as if nothing even changed. What it really taught me was that going viral does not change your life. It does not change anything. If anything, it's a sign that something resonated with a lot of people in that moment. And perhaps you should keep doing more of that. But it's not the end goal. It's not the end all be all. It's just not. And the problem was, like, I kept trying to recreate that viral moment again and again and again. And my content started to feel more shallow and like it started to feel gimmicky. And so I started noticing, like, well, the engagement dropped, but my followers went up. So now there's an even bigger discrepancy, which makes you feel even worse. And I realized, okay, I gotta stop chasing the viral moment again. I need to strengthen the connection with the existing audience. Make your content for your audience that's already here. There's a time and a place to try to go viral. Once you do it, move the fuck on and realize that you gotta create for your now existing audience that's here. If your audience isn't here, then you need to find them, and that's a different path. But once you find them, don't keep trying to reach for more people. You need to now nurture the ones you have. Because if you just keep trying to find new people, you're neglecting the ones that have already found you. And they can feel that. I feel like they can feel that. And that's just my philosophy. And so I made that mistake of continually trying to chase another viral moment after I went viral. But I realized I got to course correct. And so if you just build a whole brand on trying to get a bunch of views and farming attention, you end up with something shallow, empty. You might have a lot of views, but you don't have real world conversion. You won't have actual fans. People won't come to your events. It's quite embarrassing. So you don't want to be in that situation. I certainly don't want to be in that situation. Thankfully, I play shows. I have people show up. People like my stuff. So thank God. But it's like, if I keep only chasing virality, that gap becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. It's kind of therapeutic to have this music playing in the back while I talk about this. I don't know why. There's a new song I'm working on. I used a plugin called Frames. I'm going to raise volume. By Void Vista. A lot of creepy ambient stuff. So here I just added like a clock ticking. I think that's pretty cool. There's something about a clock that... Oh, that needs some reverb actually. Let's go ahead and... Sometimes I ask myself, is society actually better or worse because of social media? Has it destroyed us or has it made us better? I would say both. I would say it's done both. I think there's been pros and cons. It has empowered a lot of people. The average person can now reach people globally. There's no more gatekeepers, and I think that's amazing. But with that kind of power, there's also the negative equivalent. It's never been easier to move faster and make progress, but it's also never been easier to compare yourself to others, to get trapped in expectations, to get trapped by distractions, to endlessly numb yourself with mindless content and to just fall behind in life. It's never been easier to be complacent and numb, and it's never been easier to move forward and progress very quickly at your own will. So that's the time that we're living in. There we go. And I always have my signature breath sounds right here. This is gonna be like a build-up section, but the drop, I like to work on my drops first because it's usually the hardest part, and it's also the part of the song that it's like the main part of the song. Like if everything leads up great and the drop doesn't deliver, it's like, what the hell? It's like a really good looking guy with a tiny dick and the girl's like, what the fuck is this? It's like... Now I want to keep it simple because I do plan on having vocals on this. It needs something and I can't quite figure out what it is. The hardest part about this shit is like knowing, like, you know something is missing, but you just don't know what the fuck it is. Well, we sure as hell need a sub bass. I'll tell you that. So we can definitely throw that in here. So yeah, anyhow, I mean, I just figured I'd start making more long form content, but I don't want to make a bunch of music production tutorials. I like talking. I like sharing my mindsets and perspectives. And I think there's a lot of struggling that's happening in society. A lot of people are, on the surface, they seem to be okay, but inside, like, they're struggling a lot. And maybe they don't have an outlet. Maybe they can't show that. They're embarrassed. They want to maintain some image. Everything's hard, you know, like, no matter what you do, it's going to be hard. You know, if you want to go after your dreams, it's fucking hard. If you don't want to go after your dreams, it's also hard because you feel resentful. You feel like you're not living your purpose. You want to work an easy job. It's easy today, but it's hard in the long run because you never fulfill your destiny. So no matter what path you take, it's always going to be hard. You know, it's always going to be hard. Look, I could make another music production tutorial, but do you really need that? Do you really need another music production tutorial? Is that really the thing that's going to help you move forward? Probably not. Is it going to help me move forward? Not really. I would rather share what's going on in my head, because all this music that you've heard comes from this brain. It comes from the struggles, the inner battles. And that's what I want to talk about more. I want to talk about that so that we can fucking go through that shit together. I'm not your therapist. Maybe this is my own form of self-therapy. But hey, I like doing this. And I'll just make some songs while I do it. And if it happens to resonate and you want more shit like this, let's fucking go. So, fun fact, I use the same exact sub bass in like every single song. It's like the same preset. And we just gotta move it to C. Honestly, I think we can just get away with probably having one note. We can always change it later, but right now I don't really want to overthink. I just want to get the main sections in there. Let's hear that. Maybe I'll make it a little more pumpy actually, and not so sustained. Ultimately, we'll have to take that to the car and see how it hits. This is one of those things that you don't really hear, but you feel it, especially in the club. Let's try actually distorting this bass. We're going to change this to like a square. Let's see what happens. Wow, okay, different vibe. It should just be a hard cut, you know? Yes! Holy fuck, okay. You're not gonna believe this. This is so subtle. Okay, this is definitely like a very nuanced thing. You see that tail on the ending of this melody. Notice how that tail bleeds into the drop. Now if we mute that tail, now I don't know about you, but to me that's a big difference. Now the drop just for some reason just hits harder. Another little subtle thing we're gonna add right here is gonna be a reverse sub. If I can, for the love of God, just find it. A lot of my sounds, I like my little ear candy sounds, I reuse them in a lot of my songs. So I like to pull them from older sessions. Fear is a classic song. I love this song. You guys, if you haven't heard Fear, go listen to it because I think there's a good monologue in there. It's quite meaningful. It's essentially our whole lives we've lived in fear. We're afraid to fail so we don't get near. If I don't fear death, then how can I really die? I am free. I am immortal. And my name, the artist name, essentially came from that monologue because if you don't really fear death, in some way you are actually immortal if you think about it. Because look at it this way, like if you die, you're actually relieved from everything. It's really peaceful. It's probably awesome to die. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like my best friend died, and I had done ayahuasca like 1 month before he died. And when I did ayahuasca, I like conceptually died. In my mind, I literally legit thought I was dead. I went to heaven. I went to the afterlife. I was like, yo, this is fucking amazing. After that experience, I was like, yo, death is actually low-key. Death is low-key pretty awesome. But it's hard for people to understand that unless they've experienced a real like conceptual, mental, or ego death. Then when my friend died, yeah, I grieved, but I was also like, he's actually like in a better place. And so knowing that really helps with embracing the fact that you will die. And it's inevitable. You will fucking die. And so if you're going to die, my goodness, man, at least make your time on this earth worth it. What are you leaving behind? It all comes back to like, what are you leaving behind? What legacy are you leaving behind? Who's going to find it? How do you want to show up, for generations to come? All right, here's our reverse sub. We need to bring it to the key of C. All right, check this the fuck out. And if you're still watching this far, God bless you. I'm not doing this for the views, to be honest with you, bro. I'm doing this because it's therapeutic for me. And at the end of the day, I got to make my songs. And it's like I might as well share some philosophy along with it. Because like I said, your mind is the most powerful thing. Your mindset is the most important thing. Everything comes from your mindset. And I do want you to one day come along this video and perhaps you hear the right thing at the right time and it helps you through the struggle. Because Lord knows I've had those moments where I heard the right thing from the right person at the right time. Legit saved my life. So now we cut the tail. We got the reverse sub. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. A lot of production is just nuanced things. Just like tweak that, tweak that. Nope, go back to this. It's like this is what it is. You're literally creating a puzzle. Realistically, I'll probably change my mind on that side chain like a million times. Like, that's how it is. This is the reality. No one's showing you this shit, bro. This is the fucking reality. Welcome to music production. All right, anyhow, I think this video is already really long. We're gonna probably cut it here, and this is the first like real vlog thing I've done in a long time. If you actually found this shit and you fucked with it, go watch the cancer videos. Those were the first videos I put on YouTube back in 2019. This is way before Immortal, but everything starts there. Everything starts. I feel like my life began during that time. I was 22, 23. I vlogged the whole thing. I think if you really are going through a struggle, I'll just add the link somewhere here. Just click this shit. Fucking watch that shit. I think it might be very insightful for you. And I want to bring back that energy. Resilience through hard times. I want to bring that back. Yeah. Thanks for being here. Much love.